Pharaoh, the state that cannot be wrong. There is a state in the human mind enters, not in moments of weakness, but in moments of certainty. And in that state, the mind does not seek truth, it produces it. Everything that confirms the state of evidence, everything that challenges the threat, everyone who agrees is intelligent. Everyone who disagrees is either confused or dangerous. The record names this state with one word, Pharaoh, and gives him one sentence that contains the entire diagnosis. I do not show you except what I see. Read that carefully, not I'm right, not you are wrong. I do not show you except what I see. He is not lying. He genuinely cannot see anything else. This is not tyranny as a performance. This is tyranny as architecture. In the map, Pharaoh is not the beginning. He arrives after Azar, after Abu Lahab, after the Semiri. This sequence is not accidental. Azar installs the reference. Abu Lahab defends it with flame. The Semiri confirms it with golden images. And then, when the reference has been installed, defended, and confirmed enough times, it stops being a reference, it becomes reality itself. And the one who carries it becomes your Lord Most High, not because he declared himself divine, because he genuinely cannot locate the boundary between his perception and the word. Someone dismisses your work publicly, not with argument, with contempt, the kind of dismissal designed not to engage, but to diminish. You feel something rise, not Abu Lahab, not yet, something colder, a reorganization. The mind begins quietly to build a case, not against their argument, against their right to have made it. Who are they? What they don't understand, what they have never built, what they are afraid of. By the time you respond, you are not responding to what they said. You are responding from a position that had already decided the outcome. I do not show you except what I see. You called it defending your work. The map calls it something else. The ego describes this state to Musa with clinical precision. Delusions of grandeur, the false belief in one's own superiority, superhuman intelligence, greatness, and exaggerated self-esteem, belief in the importance of one's own personality, even in the face of conclusive evidence of the contrary. What the patient believes has not related to their cultural background, their religious background, or their level of intelligence. He claims, I'm your Lord Most High. And then she says something that lands differently. If that were so, your paradise would be on earth. Yet I see nothing but hell. The Pharaonic state does not produce paradise. It produces isolation dressed as authority, repetition dressed as convention, a court where the judge, the evidence, and the verdict are all the same mind. خلقناكم أطوارا. We created you in stages. Pharaoh is the state that ends the stages, not by completing them, by declaring them complete. Abraham looked at the stars and say, I love not what sets. Pharaoh looked at what he has built and says, this does not set. And the tragedy is not that he is wrong. The tragedy is that from inside the state, there is no instrument available to measure the error, because the instrument is the error. Here is where this becomes personal. And I need you to stay with this, not defensively, but with the same gaze Abraham turned on the stars. The Pharaonic state does not require a throne. It does not require power over others. It requires only one thing: a mind that has stopped being able to locate itself as possibly wrong. You know this feeling. Not as tyranny, you would never call it that. You call it knowing yourself. You call it not being manipulated. You call it experience. And sometimes it is exactly that. But sometimes the certainty arrived before the evidence. The conclusion came first, and everything after was selection. The Semir builds the calf. Pharaoh worships it, and calls the worship vision. There is a moment in the dialogue where Musa warns the ego directly. What I fear is your usurpation of a pharaonic character. I'm your Lord Most High. I'll show you only what I see. Believe in you have been elevated to a high station. The warning is not about becoming a tyrant. The warning is about a specific internal movement. The moment the self stops asking, "Am I correct?" and begins asking only, "How do I establish that I'm correct?" That movement, that single quiet shift in the direction of the question, is the Pharaonic threshold. The question I leave you with is not comfortable. It is not meant to be. Where in your life has your certainty stopped being a conclusion and become a starting point? Not your beliefs about the world, your beliefs about yourself. The ones you stopped examining, the ones that feel less like opinions, the more like facts about reality. The ones you would not bring into a real conversation, not because they are private, but because you already know they are right. That knowing, that preemptive, unexaminated, structurally protected knowing, is not wisdom, is not a throne, and no one gave it to you. You built it yourself, one confirmed belief at a time.